When COVID first hit, many schools started by having their students and staff take 2 weeks away from the public environment. We as students were beyond excited for this at the time, for the time that we were going to be having off, but little did we know how it would actually ultimately end up affecting us. As time went on, in-person learning became a thing of the past, and many schools offered options for students to virtually learn even when schools reopened. Although this may have seemed as if it was a good idea at the time, many students weren't able to get the help they needed and struggled to understand the content. This matter pertains to all of us because we know the struggles of online schooling because we are all amongst the first individuals to be a part of this new process. We want to figure out how we can improve the success of online education so that we as students can excel and reach the grades that we deserve. Online learning can be difficult for both teachers and students, but overall students suffer the most. With many classes being asynchronous, there aren't any meeting times for students, zero interactions with other peers, and displacement of belonging in class. Students also have a lack of motivation and drive to do their work when they aren't in school physically. Many students find it easier to unwind, relax, and not paying attention when they are doing their school from home, per Learn Lab education. Many individuals will lay in their bed while doing their homework, which doesn't allow them to fully focus on the material at hand. And I am a first-hand witness to this. I am also guilty of doing this. With this pertaining to all of us, this is a very important problem that must be solved. Otherwise, students will not be able to reach their full potential.
In the future, although the repercussions of not solving this problem aren't going to be outstanding for the students, these students will continue to suffer, and this will continue to affect them as they go out into the real world and obtain jobs and do work that isn't affiliated with their schooling system. If this problem is solved now, there will be no need to worry about what will happen later in life. Finding a concrete solution would be very beneficial and quite easy if a situation such as the quarantine of COVID-19 were to arise again. Instructors and schools would know the correct plan to implement a learning environment for students and teachers where they can both excel and achieve the best in their class for their capability. Although there are many ways to improve virtual learning, we have one stellar solution that would improve online schools overall and that outstands any other solutions that we have found. We propose that virtual classes have a mandatory meeting time each day where they will meet with their teachers and their classmates to go over any work and any homework that they need to complete for that day. This matter can be solved by implementing a simple schedule each day where the students will meet with both their instructors and their classmates, as said earlier. With this new matter in place, there will be no need for asynchronous classes, thus resulting in asynchronous classes becoming a thing of the past. The lack of motivation and the lack of drive will no longer be a worrisome and anxiety-filling feeling that students feel when they are required to complete their work for their classes, because they will be able to talk with the teacher and their classmates in an environment where, even though they aren't in the school setting, they will still be able to get any questions answered that they may have, as well as collaborate with other students and to get to know their students and know who their peers are and know who they may be working on with when it comes to projects, presentations, etc. So not only will this result in students being motivated and having the drive for their class, but they will feel more involved in the school as a whole. When asynchronous classes are put in place, they have no connection to their classmates. They don't have a connection to the instructor besides the emails, the presentations, and the videos that may be posted. All that they have is a screen to watch and a screen to look at to understand the material and to try their best to learn it for themselves. With this in place, they'll be able to feel like they are fully a part of the class and fully a part of the material that is being learned, so they do not need to worry about feeling left out from the school. This simple procedure put in place will essentially fix any problems around the students and their work, and virtually will cost nothing. The only piece of payment that may arise is raising the wages of teachers to fit in time to meet with their students for their classes. When looking at it at a greater scale, this may not even be an issue of cost because these teachers are already paid to meet with their students and discuss any material that they may need to go over or recover with said students. It's also important to note the high level of importance of meeting face-to-face with both instructors and students to identify the fact that a student can fully thrive and achieve their greatest goals in a class when they are able to see an instructor, whether it not be face-to-face, but over the matter of talking on the phone or having a Zoom meeting or whatever it may be. This essentially will solve that problem for both students and instructors, because as an instructor, it can be seen as difficult to identify what you will be going over that day, and if the material may be more difficult when you are in an environment such as a Zoom meeting or what have you, these students will be able to ask questions and the instructor can fully go deeper into the material while explaining on a deeper scale of what they will be learning. And then if any students do have questions at the end of the day, then they will be able to have those questions answered by their instructor in real time.
Hi there. So I'm going to be kind of doing the outro slash overall review slash conclusion to the project. For the problem that we have at hand being virtual learning, we believe the best solution that would have the minimal impact on overall classes and stuff like that would be not allowing fully asynchronous classes to be fully asynchronous. We think that if the classes where there was no meeting times, if we required meeting times, whether that be once a month, twice a month, whatever, it's up to the professor, we think that no matter what, any sort of meeting as a class would be beneficial. We think that it would allow the class as a whole to reach its full potential. And we think that it would aid in the learning of the students, but not only the students, but also the teachers and the professors. We think that it would help them kind of merge their teaching styles, even if they're able to just talk to their students once or twice a month. It would be beneficial to hear from them, like, what's working and what's not working. So the reasoning for this, we think that if we were to have asynchronous classes have required meeting times, it would result in stronger connections, both as a class, as a whole, but also like the connections between the students in the school and students with the material. We think that would give the students a little bit more school spirit, and make them feel like they're involved with the coursework and with the material. When you're meeting with your peers, even if it's as non-frequent as once or twice a month. We also thought that this was a good idea due to the fact that it'd be an easy solution to implement into schools across the country. There's already a lot of online learning happening, a lot of asynchronous learning happening like we are right now. We think that making meetings mandatory would not be that much of a tweak. And we think that it really wouldn't have any effect on the scheduling of classes, the overall like schooling, the overall coursework of classes. It really wouldn't have much of a difference. The only thing that we could think of as a group for what maybe could potentially be changed was the schooling costs, because with different softwares and platforms, everything kind of has fees and costs a little different. And then also teacher wages. We thought that that might be a little different just due to when teachers are doing different things with different platforms. You never know, like the teacher wages can fluctuate. We do understand that there are a lot of benefits to classes like this being asynchronous. However, we think that the benefits to meeting even just once or twice a month would be even greater. It's nice to be able to have an online class like this as it is, and be able to do everything from the convenience of your home, the convenience of your computer. We think that coming together as a class once or twice a month would really be beneficial for the class as a whole. So in order to implement this, it really would just be, the school would just need to make sure that they have the software like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, which most universities have that by now because of the pandemic. So really there's not much change to be made when it comes to the learning, the virtual learning itself. Not having fully asynchronous courses will be difficult and probably will be an adjustment for some students, some teachers, but we really think that would be a great option to kind of change the way that online learning is happening. Like, it's changing every day. We think that this would be a good thing to implement into schools everywhere. Yeah, thank you for listening, and have a great day.